Gemini. December 2021 is all about taking action. And I feel like you're going to be pleasantly surprised because by the end of the year, you are going to be in a position of high honor. You're going to be an official person and you are going to enjoy your time in the sun and you won't be alone. Want to know more about what this month has in store for you? Keep watching and I'll explain all about it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mel of Divine Feminine Works, and I am here to help you uncover your divinity and discover your magic. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell, so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. And speaking of content, head over to Instagram and follow me over there at Divine Feminine Works. Every day I've got a ton of tarot, manifestation, astrology content that will really help you out. So follow me over there so you don't miss out on any of that good stuff. All right, so this is going to be the Astro Forecast and Tarot Scope for the month of December 2021. I don't know about you, but I'm still kind of blown that it is December of 2021. I felt like 2021 sounded so futuristic, it sounds so far away, and now we are at the tail end of it. And can't say I'm mad about that. I mean, I'm ready to move on, hopefully to bigger and better things. And I believe that 2022 is going to give us just that. But before I get ahead of myself, it's time to talk about the here and now. And as always, you know the deal. We start with the astrology. So the theme of this month, if we had to sum up December in one sort of short, concise sentence, it would be when one door closes, another opens. That's sort of how this month is playing out. Because we begin the month right in the thick of eclipse season. So 2 weeks ago, we had a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. And then right at the beginning of December, we have a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius. So eclipses are the universe's way of sort of cleaning things up in our lives and in society in general. So eclipses either take things out of our lives or put things in. It's the universe's way of setting order. And so when we have this kind of energy, it's sort of like you not only have to roll with the punches, but you have to be open to receiving and letting go of what you want on the one hand and what no longer serves you on the other. And that's pretty much how this month is going to go. Again, the highlight of this month is the new moon solar eclipse. But another way to think about this month, or another way to look at this month, is that there's a lot of movement this month, a lot of energy shifts. So we have 4 planets that are actually changing signs. We've got 2 planets that are changing directions, and we have an eclipse. So if you find that at the end of the month, if you're sort of assessing how December was for you, and you feel like December sort of had you feeling unsettled, a little bit unstable, that's because things are shifting and moving around. And that energy actually started last month in November with the eclipse, okay? So it's, like I said before, it's really about rolling with the punches and sort of letting things, let the chips fly, let things sort of move as they need to, and then sort of assess and get a lay of the land, all right? So let's go through the month chronologically and see what we've got. So we open up the month with the planet Neptune going direct in its home sign of Pisces. So Neptune was retrograde from June 25th of this year, and now it is turning direct. And we all know that when a planet goes retrograde, it's like you sort of take the energy and the characteristics of that planet and you direct it inward. So instead of things being directed outward in your life, you're taking a hard look at yourself, you're reflecting, you're remembering, you're doing all of that with respect to that particular planet's energy. So Neptune is all about fantasy. It's all about illusion. It's about love. It's about dreams, those kind of things. And so when Neptune went retrograde back in June, all of that stuff kind of went out the window. Neptune retrograde allows you to see the realness, the harshness, and the ugliness of life. And trust and believe, I think we can all agree that we've really been seeing that. Definitely over the last couple of years, but specifically as Neptune has been retrograde, we've been seeing things for what they really are. The rose-colored glasses come off and we see life as it is. But now that Neptune is going direct, now we're going to be able to take what we've learned while Neptune was retrograde and apply that to life and be optimistic. Regardless of what we've seen, the harshness and ugliness of life, I feel like now we're able to move forward and we can dream again. We can have high hopes. We can be optimistic despite the reality of, life. But you sort of take that, it's like you take the things that you've learned while Neptune was retrograde and you apply it to, your life going forward, but you're more optimistic, you're more hopeful. All right. So that's really how Neptune direct is going to affect us. And it all depends on where that falls in your chart. Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces. So its energy is extra potent. It's great for creative endeavors. It's great for us to recognize and appreciate humanity on a collective level. It's about being selfless, compassionate, empathic. So all of these things are going to we're going to be able to feel those things again. Okay. So that's how we start out the month. And then the star of the month is, like I said, the new moon solar eclipse happening in the sign of Sagittarius, and that's going down on Saturday, December 4th. So new moons are all about new beginnings, and a new moon solar eclipse is a new beginning in a very big way. It's like a new moon on steroids. This particular solar eclipse, I should say, really is about like an ending and a beginning wrapped up in one. That's kind of why I said the theme for this month is when one door closes, another opens. On the one hand, not only is this the final eclipse in the Gemini Sagittarius cycle that we've kind of been going through for the last 18 months or so, it's also happening at the 12th degree. And the 12th degree is the Pisces degree. And as we know, Pisces is the final sign in the zodiac. So there is a certain element of finality with this particular eclipse. So like I said, something is going to end and something is going to begin sort of simultaneously. Although you're not going to feel it right in the moment. It's not like Saturday is going to get here and you're going to be like, okay, something ends, something begins, I'm done. This energy is fluid and it's definitely playing out over the next couple of months. So be prepared for things to sort of shift within that time frame. This new moon solar eclipse allows us to have a clean slate and a fresh start, and it eclipses things into our lives. So I don't know about you, but at the time of the full moon lunar eclipse last month, I experienced a lot of endings. People that I was close to, someone that I was very close to passed away. Things were very jarring, things were sort of being eclipsed out. Now at this new moon solar eclipse, you may notice that things are being eclipsed in, things are being added to your life. People may be coming in, you may be going to a new place, experiencing new things, especially being in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius likes to live large and in charge. It's all about adventure, broadening your horizons. So it's going to be this very expansive new beginning. There's also going to be an element of limitation and unexpected happenings with this new moon solar eclipse because we've got Uranus and Saturn in the mix. And I'm going to do a separate video on these eclipses generally and go more into the astrology of each particular eclipse. But just know that things may be a little difficult. Things, Saturn is an energy of limitation, of obstacles. It's also of endings also, and karma. So you may find that things are finally wrapping up in a particular area of your life, only for a new door to open and a new adventure, to embark upon. So that's sort of how this eclipse is playing out. All right. So moving right along, we have Mercury entering into Capricorn on December 13th. And Mercury in Capricorn is very serious. Our thoughts, our communications become serious, practical, down to earth. We become more focused and think more about work, being disciplined, perhaps overcoming obstacles, A lot of what we talk to people about and a lot of what we think about centers around work. It centers around serious matters. So that's how Mercury in Capricorn is going to play out. And again, that's going down on December 13th. That same day, December 13th, Mars is going to be moving into the sign of Sagittarius. Mars being a fire sign and moving into a fire sign makes Mars sort of extra happy. And this is really about, we become motivated by our desire to act according to our ideals and beliefs. Sagittarius, apart from just, ruling long distance travel, higher education, Sagittarius is all about expanding our minds, and it's also about faith, belief, and spirituality. And so now Mars being a very action-oriented planet, a planet that is concerned with initiation, we're going to want to move according to what we believe in and what we have faith in, and being very strong and convicted in those beliefs. Additionally, we'll want to start new adventures, blaze new trails, start new projects, initiate a whole bunch of things on a very grand scale, right? The only thing you'll have to keep in mind is that Mars in Sagittarius is like great for starting things, but not necessarily finishing. So you may have all of these projects that you start, you may have multiple projects, or you may have one big project. It's going to be very important for you to keep your level of motivation high, because in the beginning, you're going to be really fired up. You're going to be like, yes, I want to do this. Let's do it. Let's go for it. And then shortly thereafter, you're going to be like, whatever, or it goes by the wayside or anything like that. So that's definitely going to be something that you're going to be mindful of when Mars enters Sagittarius. All right, so moving right along, we have the full moon in Gemini going down on December 18th. And obviously, if you've watched any of my videos before, you already know that full moons illuminate. Full moons are either the culmination of a manifestation or they illuminate something that's been hidden. Gemini rules communication, it rules siblings, it rules extended family members, short distance travel, business, sort of your everyday busy body kind of energy is what Gemini is. And so with this, you're going to find that you'll probably either be really busy around this full moon, your communication with people is going to ramp up, you may be taking short distance trips, maybe you planned a short distance trip sometime prior and now you're finally going on it. You may find that something that you thought about back at the new moon in Gemini back in June now is coming to fruition. You may find that just your general environment is just busy. That's sort of how this full moon is going to play out. And again, that is on December 18th. Moving right along, the next day on December 19th, we have Venus going retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So Venus in Capricorn is very serious as well. Just like I spoke about Mercury in Capricorn being serious, Venus is the same thing, but its energy is more focused on relationships, money, things that we value, aesthetics, beauty, comfort, luxury. All of those things become very serious, very tangible, and very down to earth. Venus in Capricorn is the energy that's going to get you to save money to buy a big ticket item. It's going to have you make a plan of action to redo your house, have a relationship. It's very practical, diligent, and down to earth. That's when Venus is direct in Capricorn. So now when Venus is retrograde in Capricorn, we take that energy and we direct it inward. So this really becomes what are the things that I value in my life? What is important to me? What are the criteria that I need to be in a relationship? Everything that Venus is about, we direct that inward. And being in Capricorn, we take a very practical, down-to-earth focus to it. Even creativity becomes very much more practical. How do I do things? How do I make money from what I create? What values are important to me in relationships with respect to assets? What's fair in my life? Am I being fair to myself? So that Venusian energy, everything Venus is going to be directed inward when Venus goes retrograde. And again, that's on December 19th. Moving right along, on December 21st, Capricorn season officially begins when the sun moves into Capricorn. So there's a lot of Capricorn energy this month. So if you feel like December is really sort of heavy, it's sort of not very exciting. I mean, the holidays are around, so there's that certain element to that. But maybe you think about the holidays in terms of how much money am I spending? How much overtime do I have to work in order to buy people presents? Those are the sort of Capricorn-like thoughts that are characteristic of the sun in Capricorn. We become very disciplined. Work becomes a real thing. We focus on getting things done in a practical, down-to-earth sort of way. Our status in life becomes something that we become concerned about. Business, all of those sort of mundane, practical things are what are characteristic of Capricorn season. And again, that begins on December 21st when the sun moves into Capricorn. And then finally, we close out the month with Jupiter heading into its home sign of Pisces. Jupiter in Pisces is like love, an overdose of love. Jupiter is all about expansion and growth, right? And so Jupiter in Pisces is really about expanding our awareness of spirituality, compassion, and love, but love on a grander scale. It's not like how you love your parent, how you love your child, how you love your spouse or your significant other. It's how you love humanity. Your love grows and your love expands, right? You start to, Pisces is a very intuitive sign. It's a very sensitive sign and an empathic sign. So whenever there is a planet in Pisces, particularly Jupiter, we feel other people's emotions. We feel sensitive, compassionate, and empathic towards other people in a very big way, which is great because that helps us understand people and just spread love, right? But the thing with Pisces is that it can be a lot and it can be overwhelming. And so in feeling everything on a grand scale, you really may have the tendency to lose yourself. You start taking on other people's emotions, taking on other people's shit, and you get lost in the sauce essentially. And with Pisces, the symbol for Pisces being fish, you're sort of literally lost in the sauce, right? So with Jupiter in Pisces, what's going to be really important is for you to feel everything, right? But also take the time and extra room to feel for yourself. So you're going to have to close off to the world at times, rest, recharge, and get back to yourself, because there's going to be a tendency to lose yourself. There's going to be a tendency to really, like I said, get lost in the sauce. So that is December in a nutshell. If you want to know more about what December has to offer, you can either check out the horoscopes, which are on my website, link in the description box below, or you can get a personal horoscope that is designed specifically for you. Whether it's 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months, you can figure out what December or any other month for that matter is going to look specifically for you. And if you want to order that, that link is in the description box as well. All right, Gemini. So for you, along with your other mutable sign counterparts, which would be Sagittarius, Pisces, and Virgo, December is all about taking action. You guys have a lot of cardinal energy this month. And cardinal energy is all about the energy of initiation. It's about starting new things, starting new projects, being bold, being, enterprising. All of those things are characteristic of cardinal energy. And you have cardinal energy because it's your cardinal houses that are going to be emphasized this month via the astrology. All right. So we start out the month with the sun in Sagittarius, and that is going to give a big emphasis on your 7th house of relationships. So not only is the sun in your 7th house, you also have the new moon solar eclipse going down in your 7th house. You have Mercury in your 7th house, at least for the start of it. And then you're going to have Mars transiting into your 7th house by the end of the month. So needless to say, relationships are going to be a big thing for you this month. And again, because this is a cardinal house, this is going to be when it comes to relationships, you're going to want to take action based on the information that you're getting from these planetary energies. So obviously, with the sun in your 7th house, there's an emphasis and a focus of your consciousness on relationships. How do you play into them? Events going on in your relationship, that sort of thing. The new moon solar eclipse, like I said before, the new moon solar eclipse is a new moon on steroids. So it's like a huge new beginning, a complete fresh start, clean slate, etc. And so you might find that something new in your life pertaining to relationships occurs around the eclipse or shortly thereafter or in the following months after the eclipse. Now, I want you to think back to May 2020. That is sort of where this eclipse is coming from. So maybe you started a relationship back then, or maybe something regarding relationships happened at that time. And now this is sort of going to be the final culmination to that. And at the same time, you're going to have this new beginning. Okay. So that's the eclipse. Mercury is all about it's going to ramp up your communication with respect to relationships. So relationships are not just romantic, right? They can be business, one-on-one, your relationship with the public. So you may find that communication ramps up. Thoughts about relationships start consuming you more because that's where Mercury is located, okay? And then by the end of the month, when Mars transits into your 7th house of relationships, starting a new relationship, taking a relationship to the next level, experiencing new things with respect to relationships is really going to be a thing for you, okay? So moving right along, when the sun moves into the sign of Capricorn, it's going to light up your 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. Now, this is going to be about sustaining your intimacy or shared resources. So intimacy isn't just sex, although it can be. You may find that being that the sun is going to be in Capricorn, Capricorn rules status, it rules work, really. So you may find that holding on to work, a transformation with respect to work will definitely be a thing come Capricorn season, okay? Not to mention the sun going into Capricorn. You have Venus retrograde going into Capricorn. Well, Venus is already in Capricorn, but it's going to go retrograde in Capricorn. You've got Mercury that's going to be moving into Capricorn, and we still have Pisces direct in Capricorn. So there's going to be a lot of transformation with respect to Capricornian type things. These could be material possessions, work, like I said before, status, those kind of things fall under the purview of Capricorn, okay? And so that's going to be about sustaining it because the 8th house, which is Capricorn is your 8th house, right? And so Capricorn, the 8th house is a fixed house, meaning that it's about sustaining and being comfortable and maintaining the things that you went after with that cardinal energy. So if we're talking about relationships, right? Come Capricorn season, now it's about sustaining that relationship, finding more intimacy in those relationships, sharing resources, holding on to resources, accumulating resources as a couple, or borrowing money from somebody else. You know, the 8th house also covers other people's resources. So even if you don't have like a joint bank account with a partner, or even if you're just single, this could be money that you get from a bank, a loan. This could be taxes, accounting, all of that sort of stuff. That Capricorn energy, particularly the sun in the sign of Capricorn, is going to be about sustaining those things. All right. Moving right along, like I said, you have a lot of cardinal energy. So the next house that's get highlighted is your 10th house of career and public life. Now, Jupiter is going to be transiting into Pisces, which is your 10th house, and Neptune is going to be going direct in your 10th house. So all that means is that your career sector or your public life sector is about to expand. It's about to blow up. You can now be optimistic about reaching out to more people. You can now be more optimistic about connecting with more people on a higher level. I feel like when Neptune was retrograde in your 10th house, you were probably very downtrodden and you saw the harsh reality of how your career is affecting your life. You know, the rose-colored glasses came off and you saw your career and your public life for what it really was. Now that you have that information, now you can start something new. You can initiate something new since you've seen the reality of it. You've probably seen the worst of it since Neptune went retrograde. So now that Neptune is direct and now that Jupiter is joining Neptune, and I want to mention that both Jupiter and Neptune are at home in Pisces. Pisces rules both of those signs. So that energy is going to be extra potent. It's going to be large and in charge. It's going to be super optimistic. You're going to be able to dream again, fantasize. Like, you're going to have this breath of fresh air when it comes to your career and public life. So knowing that, and then taking the lessons you've learned while Neptune was retrograde, now you can start something new. Now you can get a new job. You can get a promotion. You can move ahead. You can change jobs. You can do whatever you want to do because now, you know, you're finally being optimistic and things can finally expand in your career and public life sector. Sorry. And then finally, we have the last, well, it's not the last cardinal house, but the last house this month that's being highlighted for you, which is also a cardinal house, is your first house of self. And so with the full moon in Gemini going down in your first house, you are going to be illuminated to things about yourself, perhaps things that have been hidden or things that you've sort of swept under the rug, Or you're going to find that personal goals and personal manifestations that you thought about or that you set in motion back in June of this year are finally going to come to fruition, okay? And so you're going to want to take action based on the information that you received from this full moon. So maybe you're discovering a new talent that you didn't realize you had. Now you can start something new in your life based on that information. Perhaps now something that you've been manifesting since June finally comes to fruition. Maybe it's a personal goal. Maybe you've wanted to lose weight, and now in the last 6 months, you finally lost a good amount of weight, and now you can sort of strut your stuff. You have this new outlook on life, and you can sort of start things that maybe you couldn't before when you were heavier. Okay, that's sort of the energy, and that's sort of how this is going to work with respect to that first house emphasis. I don't know why I'm so tongue-tied today. That first house emphasis with the full moon in Gemini. All right. So again, Gemini, this month is going to be all about taking action based on the planetary energy and what it's been showing you either over the last 18 months, over the last 6 months, since, in the past, or what's being shown to you right now. Okay. But it's all about taking action and being dynamic and bold and enterprising. All right. So now that we've gotten the astrology out of the way, let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has for you this month. All right, Gemini. So you know the deal. We've got 3 separate messages, 1 general, 1 love, and 1 career. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. And we'll start with the general message. Okay. Came right out. Okay. So we've got time for a nap. And this is funny because I don't know about you, but this eclipse energy has had me either very anxious or very drained. And I'm doing this right before I'm filming this, last day of November, and I am just exhausted. And right as I'm shuffling, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But I feel like you kind of feel the same way. If it's not the eclipses that are making you tired, I feel like it may be a certain relationship. Or for some of you, you are tired of the games. I feel like there may be someone around you that may have been very sneaky or very underhanded. I don't get that this person is very, they're not like a completely malicious person. I feel like there may be there may be a particular issue, a particular circumstance within which they're trying to get one over on you. And you're just tired of it. You're tired of it. You're tired of just a lot of things right now. You feel like you just want to stop. You feel like you just want to take a nap. You don't feel like doing anything. And that's sort of, I have to say, when I was shuffling down there, I feel really tired and drained. I was just like, oh my gosh. I just got this overwhelming sense of heaviness and ugh. And I feel like that's how you guys are feeling right now. Okay. So for some of you, maybe really time to take a nap. It may be time to take a break from someone. It may be time to sort of distance yourself from someone because I get the sense that they are being underhanded. Like I said, for others of you, someone who is underhanded that's around you, it's like they're going to stop. At least for a while. So the foolishness and fuckery that has been going on, it's going to stop at least for this month, for the foreseeable future. I feel like that's going to stop, right? So let's get some more cards out here and see what these cards are coming out so quickly for you. We've got the 9 of Swords. You are tired. You're physically tired. You're mentally tired. You're stressed out. Some of you have been thinking the worst. Some of you have been experiencing the worst. Like I said, there may be someone in your immediate environment that is treacherous, that is underhanded, that's sneaky, and you're just over it. Either this person's going to stop or you're just going to stop engaging with this person. But it's time. It's time for you to stop. It's time for everything to just be at a standstill because you've been dealing with too much. Okay. It's time for the games to stop, the negativity, all of that. It's this person or these people may have been picking on you. This may be a lot of naysayers, a lot of people, opinionated people. You see how this card, she's over here crying or just at least with her head in her hands. And all of these birds right here, it's they've been circling around you, jabbing at you. You know what I'm trying to say, right? picking at you, especially maybe when it comes, I'm getting like these maybe like customers, clients, co-workers, people that have an effect on your money or your livelihood or your security. Could be your emotional security, could be your financial security. It's time for you to give it a rest. It's really time for you to give it a rest. Okay, let's get one more card here for this general message. Oh, we got two, but I'll take them. First one out is expectation. Someone around you expects you to be like on all the time. Not only are they nitpicking at you, but you've got to keep going. You've got to keep going a mile a minute. Like they have this expectation, or they expect you to wait on them hand and foot. Like you're doing all the work and they're not. And they're just sitting there like, you see how she's just sitting there like expecting it? Like that's sort of that's the expectation that people have of you. They're expecting a lot from you. That's kind of why you're feeling like this. And it's time to stop that. You don't need to meet other people's expectations right now. You really just need to meet your own expectations. Okay. And then we have main male. Okay. So this could be you. I do sense a lot of male energy here. So I feel like for the men watching or anyone who identifies as a male, I feel like this is you. You're the one with your head in your hands, feeling exasperated, feeling beat up, feeling beat down. For some of you, you may have a male in your life that is experiencing this. For others of you, it is a male that is doing this to you. Okay, so whoever comes to mind, when you see this card, that's who this message refers to. Okay. But you have to remember that the only expectations you need to meet are the ones that you set for yourself. Sometimes we feel very obligated to people. I'm getting like, for some of you, like you may be an entrepreneur and you know that like customer is always right saying, and you may have a lot of customers that are either being very picky, that are complaining a lot, that are just getting on your nerves. And you feel like on the one hand, you know, the customer's always right. You know, if I run my own business, I have to really cater to these clients. But on the other hand, you're kind of just like, fuck this and fuck you. Like, shut the fuck up. That's kind of, you're getting to that point where you're just like, I can't deal with this anymore. It's too much. Too much. Okay. The only expectations you need to meet are the ones that you set for yourself. All right. Let's move on to love and see what we have for you. Okay. No. All right. Oh, dreams come true. All right. So that's exactly what it sounds like. A dream that you've had for a long time is finally going to start making its way to you. It's almost like, you know, the saying, as above, so below. I feel like you've been able to get the as above part, right? You've been able to, how do I say this? You've set the intention. You've made the petition. You've said the prayer, right? And those prayers are finally going to be answered. And now those blessings are going to rain down on you. So congratulations. You guys have a dream come true with respect to your relationship, with respect to your love life. Something is finally going to come to fruition. Perhaps at the new moon in Gemini, which is around December 18th, when these things come to fruition. All right. So, and again, that could go back to June of this year. So around the new moon in June, maybe there was an intention that you set with respect to a relationship. And now that dream is going to finally come to fruition. Okay. Let's get another card here. Okay. That's too many. All right. All right, Gemini, look at this. The Two of Cups. Yeah, you have a relationship coming together. There's a relationship that you started back earlier this year. Maybe you had your eye on someone since this year, and now it's finally going to come to fruition. You're finally going to get your person, okay? It's beautiful energy. And it's so reciprocal. However you've been feeling about this person is how this person's feeling about you, and it's finally going to come together. It's finally going to materialize. It's finally going to show up in your reality, and that it's going to be beautiful because it's going to be so reciprocal. Okay. Let's get one more card here for relationship. Oh, these are two, but I'll take both of them. we've got toil and labor. So this lets me know that you've been actively manifesting this. I feel like this is something that you've been working at for a while. You've been like getting your mind right. You've been preparing yourself. You've really put effort into making this relationship work or materialize. And I feel like it's finally going to show up. And there's something about it being sort of fated. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to say I don't believe in twin flames. I just don't believe in it in the same way that I used to, but that's a whole other story for another video. But there's a very twin flame-ish kind of energy. And if you notice, I'm like, yeah. Like, I don't want you guys to feel like, no. You know what? No. Feel it. Be optimistic about it, particularly with Neptune going direct. And Neptune is going direct in Pisces, which is, hold on a second. Neptune is going direct in Pisces, which is your 10th house. Okay. So it has to do with your public life. But regardless, you're still feeling very optimistic. Feel optimistic about your love life. It's really about to get better. High honor. Interesting. Okay. Now you heard me just say that Neptune is going direct in your 10th house. 10th house covers career and public life. And when I just read that, I was like, oh, this doesn't really have to do with relationships, but it does. It has to do with your social standing. So it's almost like taking your relationship public. It's almost like elevating your social standing with this relationship. Like, you can feel optimistic about that because it's actually going to happen. It's going to come to fruition. Okay. So be happy about your love life. It's definitely getting better. All right. And finally, let's get into the career message. Interesting. We've got the garden. Okay. The garden is a public space, right? So this is definitely talking about your 10th house. There's something about your career that's going to be very public. I see public recognition. I'm hearing your time in the sun. You're going to be noticed by a lot of people. And there's something about your relationship that has something to do with this. I don't know if your relationship is going to help you go public. I don't know if whoever you're with is going to help your career sort of expand, but your relationship and your career are sort of going hand in hand right now, which is really nice. All right, let's get another card here. There we go. Yes. Public, community. There's a certain amount of recognition and just being embraced in public. You got your relationship, which you may be taking public right now. You've got community that's like rallying behind you. Expect your career and public life to just expand in a very major way. All right. Let's get one more card to close out the career reading and this reading in general. All right. One more card here. There we go. Official person. You are elevating in a very major way. We've got official person and high honor in the same reading. Like, some of you are going to like expand to star status. Your reputation is going to be known far and wide as like an official person. For some of you, there's an official person in your community who's going to recognize you. Some of you may be partnering up with this official person, okay? So because this has to do with career, this relationship, the relationship portion of the reading could really be a business partner, could even be a romantic partner, but regardless, things are really looking good for you, relationship and career. And just know that whatever little annoyances that have been going on, like that's going to pale in comparison to what is coming with respect to your career and your relationship. Okay. So be happy, be optimistic, because you are about to enjoy a very nice time in the sun, and you're not going to be alone either. Some of you are going to be booed up. Some of you are going to be partnered up. You are going to have the partner of your dreams by your side as you accomplish these amazing things in your career. Okay. So be optimistic. You deserve it. All right, my loves, that has been the Astro Forecast and Taroscope for the month of December 2021. I sincerely hope and affirm that you were able to get at least one important message from this reading. Speaking of readings, if you'd like to book a personal tarot reading with me or order a personalized astrology report, those links are in the description box below, so don't forget to check those out. And while you're checking things out, don't forget to hit up my website, sign up for my newsletter. I give a whole bunch of free content on a regular basis, so sign up everywhere you can so you never miss out. All right, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.